You know what time it is.
What's up, beer people?
If you heard it on the hashtag Beer Town, it's true.
It must be true.
It's true. It is fact. Please, won't you name one of your beers Cart Horse?
And just do something terrible. Just shit beer.
Stick your finger in there every now and again.
Stir it with the sock.
Every show, it feels like my first show.
Every show is a new adventure.
Having some good conversation here, Mr. Troy.
Did I make sense there? I think I did.
I love them all.
Are we off air?
Hello, you crazy kids. Welcome to another episode of Hashtag Beer Time with me, T-Bone Troy. This episode is all about Toast Ale. Now, you may have heard about it before. You should have seen it making some headlines on social media, but it's got its product in the USA and Britain, as far as I'm aware. South Africa is the third place to get it, and we spoke to Bianca, who is one of the directors of the South African division, and she's very passionate about craft beer. She's very passionate about giving back to the community, and we were very fortunate enough to sit down with her and get her to explain about how she got involved, what is Toast, and why is it a social conscious beer. I found it very interesting that they give 100% of their profits to empowering the unemployed in South Africa. So it's a very powerful message that to place behind your product, not just your beer product. Now, I must apologize. I think I only hit record about 3 minutes into this, but you don't miss out on much. It's pretty. You can follow it pretty easily. I'm also joined in the studio with the co-host Murray, and we have some good banter. Some good banter as always. We try not just the Toast Ale, but we try a few other beers, and it's a great show. We enjoyed it, so I hope you guys enjoyed as well. Cheers.
Exactly.
So where are the main outlets or sources of your surplus bread that you get in?
So our main bread partner is Need Bakery. So Need Bakery they put away all their surplus bread at the end of the day, because obviously they bake fresh every day.
Yeah.
Just
you don't want
the
that.
microphone there. Sorry.
You don't want that hard sourdough when you order something tasty.
Yeah, and I mean, you walk into the shop, you smell the fresh bread.
Yeah.
So the day-old bread or the surplus bread that doesn't get sold is put away, frozen for us, and we go collect it. And we take it to Devil's Peak, and JC brews us an amazing pale ale.
Amen.
So we're very lucky. Thank you, Devil's Peak. And then the profits, 100% of our profits, actually. A lot of people, we get a question a lot is, how much really? I mean, really?
Yeah.
Can you really give it? Yes, we're giving 100% of the profits to empowering unemployed South Africans. And I must say, even off the bat, as we launched, before we even made any money, we donated every month because we're committed to empowering someone sustainably to feed their families forever.
Yeah.
So they don't have to rely on handouts or just struggling. There's no need for that. You can grow your own food and do it in whatever space you have.
So I'm going to ask a really dumb question, and it might seem like quite insensitive.
There are no dumb questions.
Thank you. Murray says that to me every time. Why? What's in it for you? What's in it for Devil's Peak? Why would they want to do something like this?
Well, I mean, all companies these days need to have a backbone, and a backbone that's transparent. And Devil's Peak, really, they came on board because they saw, okay, this company or this brand or this concept really has the power to make a difference. And obviously, with them seeing that it was possible, they believe in the concept, they believe in the cause, and so they were like, yes, we're definitely coming on board. So, yeah, it wasn't really a difficult decision for them. They came on board very easily, so we're very grateful for that, actually.
I like how you mentioned all these breweries need to have a backbone and transparency. And I think you're a good salesperson, if I can say that.
Thank you.
Because I 100% agree with that. And it's, besides having, I've always been shouting on the radio about companies needing to have a corporate identity. Because I think a lot of them don't have an identity or something to stand by. Whether I always use the example, whether you're a brewery that supports or has a logo of a bicycle, and your aim is towards the bicycle, the cyclist markets. That's almost having an identity. But going one step further, you need to have that community-based interaction, or something that's actually given back, and something that's not just taken from the earth, something that's coming full circle. And if it's sure, I think SA have been doing it for a few years now with projects and stuff like that. But I think what's great is the smaller guys, the craft, the microbreweries, they develop in that social conscience and actually put in a bit of weight behind it. Jack Black, for example, I know they support the Wavescape Festival. And that's been going on for a while.
And
now.
Drifters also, they
Drifter as well.
They did a water saving thing, where they donated to a water saving cause.
I mean, just imagine the consumer. I just feel like, especially in Cape Town, it's actually, as you said, Mazza, with this whole water shortage, people are going to start becoming a little bit aware of what our precious resources we have, and any company or any brewery who starts, let me say any company, doesn't have to be a brewery, any company that starts touting or marketing their green carbon footprint or whatever, I think it's amazing. And I think
with this huge problem, I mean, I think it's forced people's social conscience, if you could call it that, to really awaken and realize that besides just the fact that, okay, this is just one thing, but the drought, huge, affects everybody, regardless of how much money you make, where you live. It's affecting everybody. So it's forcing everyone to relook. And so I think at the moment, us being a social enterprise, a social concept, a social brand, that is at the moment our competitive edge, besides being great tasting beer. But which is a good thing and a bad thing. A good thing because we're starting the movement. So we'll be known for this. But eventually, every company, every brand should have this component to it as being the majority of what they're doing is giving back in some way. And I think for especially a small brand, a small company, giving back in this way is huge for us. But for SAB, they could be doing a lot more with their resources, I think, to give back. But I think them showing that they're making that shift is a good display to the world that we're moving forward towards that green and sustainability.
I know CBC claimed to be the first and only microbrewery in South Africa to have green energy, or they've got some very special machine in the back there.
I also watched a documentary
Anyone
about
from
them.
CBC? But it's I think it's also brewers need to get on board with that. I think
there's a lot of ways to save energy and power.
A common mistake. Sorry, man. A common mistake is brewers think, no, I just need to make beer and sell it. And there's no thought or effort with marketing. We've spoken about many times on the show.
There's too many brands out
and
there
if
now.
you can align yourself with a charity or some initiative, and just let's be honest, the hard work. Oh my God, the hard work will be in the beginning. But once it's settled and set up, should I say rather, you've got this continuity of something that's going to be good for your brand. A simple example: donating your spent grain to farmers. Is that am I talking?
No.
I'm not a brewer.
No. I think there's anything that you can do. Whether you in your counterflow chiller, if you've got now some hot water and that's energy. There's energy in that water. You could save electricity. You could save water. There's a whole bunch of things that you could do in the whole process. Your spent grain. I don't know what CBC's got with their generator or how they're doing their power. You said they've got green power, but I think there's a lot of ways, whether it's a corporate social investment type thing, where you are toasters and you are giving back, or whether it's another way that it isn't as I don't know what the word would be, but this as an NPO is far more focused on giving back, but smaller guys and other people could still give back in different ways.
I think we should be more innovative about it. I mean, maybe I'm going too far ahead in terms of business that I haven't even got social responsibility. But like with the leftover mash, there's so much more than just giving it to pigs. Yes, you can give it to pigs, but you could also dry it, ground it up, and create like a flour, or you can mash it up and put it into create like energy bars, because they're so rich in protein and nutrients that they should be used for more than just animals. So there's so many options.
You can't eat it straight from the mash tun, right, Mazza? It doesn't taste too good.
You can, but it just doesn't taste
Mix it
great.
with like almond and honey. I mean, there's so many options. You can create bricks and build sustainable housing.
Why are you not doing this?
There's so many things that we could be doing. One step at a time.
It is one step at a time, and I think this is a very big first step, and this is the first step in the right direction where it's been an actual awareness, as you said. Like a big part about it is the awareness of how much food is going to waste.
Exactly. If you can get together in a group of friends, drink toast, and realize what you're doing is for charity, that's a great way to start talking.
And it's 100%, 100%.
100%.
That's great.
What is the next step? And I have a few ideas, but what are your next steps?
Well, I am optimistic about the future, I must say.
Thank you. I'm so bleak about the camera, because if not, like the way the facts have been coming out, there could have just been this parchment rolled out and just numbers.
I do have some. I'm holding back on a few. But please, continue.
I am not. Well, I just see us being all over South Africa. I don't want to talk too much about expansion, but there's definitely expansion in the works. I mean, we do have the license for toast in Africa. So I really am hoping to really just spread Toast's mission throughout Africa, our continent. So, yes.
My idea.
What is your idea?
We go.
You and I had a chat last week
Yes,
at
we
Bear
did.
House about sales, and then over the weekend I was thinking, what can we do to grow this? Because it is a beer and a product that I believe in. And I was thinking, and you've probably thought of it before, but we need all the big brewers to get on board with this.
Yes.
Not just Devil's Peak. We need all the... And you know, it's easier said than done, but
It's not.
the big guys... The big guys should actually just get involved.
Yes.
And it could be quite a good... There should be some good camaraderie behind that. And I think every brewery, every top brewery, and I say top in terms of quantity, CBC's, Devil's Peak, Jack Black, Darling, Mad Giants, all those big guys, big-ish. We're going to give you shit for being big. Anyway, they should all have their own unique recipe. CBC should develop their Pilsner. Jack Black should come up with a Kolsch. Darling should come up with a floral beer, Saison maybe, something that's unique to them, but also incorporates in the bread from
a
the
little
local
bit of
community.
variety, and you can actually have like a mixed toast case.
Exactly. And then you come
Now the ball's rolling.
Come December, festival beer. You've got 6 different toasts,
and you've got a toast
different
stand.
styles, and then you've just got this whole
so many
mission.
lives being changed.
Exactly.
I
And
mean, that is essentially the mission for Toast. It's to get every brewery on board to create one beer. I mean, at least have a toast in every brewery. You can have all your own beers or whatever your brand, but that essentially is what in the UK they've been doing that. So they have, I can't tell you the number, but there's a bunch of breweries on board creating their own kinds of stouts, all kinds of things with different kinds of breads.
All bread initiative.
All of it.
Yeah.
And all the proceeds are going to Feedback, which is a food waste reduction charity in the UK. I mean, that is the founder of Toastdale is the founder of Feedback, Tristram Stewart. He's a food specialist, food waste specialist and environmentalist. And he's amazing. So this is his concept. So they've done it in the UK, and we really do want to do that. But obviously, just want to get the brand known first as Devil's Peak brewed beer, because everyone knows Devil's Peak, everyone loves Devil's Peak. So let's just kind of get us known, get the brand out there, and then we'll continue with the revolution.
I have a question about the bread used.
Okay.
So, I mean, it's not really a technical question, but it comes down to consistency in the beer. I personally don't care about consistency in a beer like this because I know it's going to be made well. If it's being made at Devil's Peak, it's going to be made well. But like in the UK, does it work with people being willing to have one toast ale and then have another one? And how is the bread, like how much bread's used and where do they get the consistency, if there is even a consistency at all?
Okay, so
if they need consistency. Like I say, I don't care about it.
yeah. So our recipe, obviously the UK has the recipe. When we decided we were going to brew with Devil's Peak and we all agreed, shook hands, had a little party, the JC and the head brewer in the UK had a little Skype sesh and kind of just arranged the recipe in a way that was applicable to the SA market and the ingredients that we have access to here. So it's a slightly different recipe, but I mean, it's great because JC worked on it. And and then so 250 kilograms of bread. That is an enormous amount of bread goes into a 3,000 litre batch.
How much is a
You
loaf?
can get squashed by that.
A loaf is about
700 grams.
0.5, between 0.3 and 0.5.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
So like a lot of bread.
Yeah.
A lot of bread. So yeah, 250 in every batch, a 3,000 litre batch. Obviously,
Imagine just getting covered in a
Yeah.
tank.
I mean, that's
eating
like
your way
the
out.
whole
Being at the
room.
bottom,
This is
yeah.
this whole room full of bread, and it's craft bread. So it's a mixture of sourdough, rye, and ciabatta. And to answer your question, it's relatively the same amounts every time.
Okay.
So the consistency doesn't change. I did have a bit of before I knew this. Obviously, in South Africa and I guess in the world, we're trying to move towards more unfiltered beers to retain the taste. And when I first saw some of the beers with pieces in it, I freaked out and I was like, Rob Haynes! Or Rob is our partner in Toast. Rob Haynes. And he's like, just calm down, Bianca. It's because we're moving towards a more unfiltered beer to retain the flavor. And I was like, that makes so much more sense. And he said, if you get little floaters in there, it's
I
not
saw
a
a
bad
floaty
thing.
and I was like, I'm not going to say anything because I know Devil's Peak filters, but I didn't know that this was. I knew if there was something in there, it would have been because it was unfiltered. But
Yeah. So it's trying to retain that like biscuity caramel flavor, which just makes it better.
We actually had Rob Haynes on the show when he was, I think it was October, and unbeknownst to him, I bought a toast ale back from New York.
Oh.
And when I bought it out,
That's why I saw the can in your picture.
when I bought it out, he was surprised. He was like, "Oh," and he thought I was onto him. Like he was like, "How did you know about this?" He was like, I was like, "I just got this."
now I do.
Oh, so you didn't even know that he was part of Toast?
I didn't know he was part of Toast. He told me after the show.
Okay.
But we tried it, and nothing against our American friends. It just, I think it was just old or it was aged, and it just wasn't lekker. It wasn't a lekker tasting beer. So Rob got on the phone straight away with JC and was like, right,
Make sure it's amazing.
we need to make it a South African ale style beer.
I mean,
It's a
okay,
very
so
nice
we've
beer.
tasted the UK's beer, all three of them, because they have a IPA, I think, a lager and a pale ale. So they started with a pale ale and then they started with the other two later on. So we've tasted those, and obviously I compared our pale ale to their pale ale, and
Ours is better.
ours is better.
Where is there consistency in the or like continuity in the labels? Do they look the same around the world?
So yes, that is something that we are keeping. The America's label is obviously it's a can, so there
Goes around the whole.
it's blue though, it's not black, and then
Okay.
obviously the logo is the same. But
Yeah.
we're trying to keep it consistent because obviously, essentially the concept is the same and the brand is the same. It's just different branches. We need to just mold it to the market, but the concept's still the same.
Yeah.
So the label was
The taste the same, but
doesn't taste the same.
although the bread might be different.
We're getting there.
We're getting there. Try
Don't stop.
to
please.
slip that into the conversation. No, we really need to rise up.
We
above
need. We need to rise up.
Ryan, I hope you're listening.
this. He's sick. Okay. What's we do have another
Did you
beer.
just say for yeast's sake?
Yes.
That one doesn't work at all.
No, it's
It doesn't work. Well,
Nice try though.
It doesn't work.
With some, you lose some.
I watched the lecture on
It's
Yeasty
sort of
Boys
just-
yesterday. So let me put that in.
For yeast's sake, came. I was like, he couldn't have said that. It doesn't work. Brought it up. There was a 2 or 3 second gap in between that. I'm glad.
At Yeast
I'm
and
glad.
Time.
Yeah.
There we go.
Yeah. And the ratings are falling. And well, should we go to a music break? No, let's just carry on drinking. We're having a good time. Let's go to a music break.
No, let's have another beer.
No, let's take a little quick 1 minute music break, so we could just have a little wash of the glasses before we go to our last beer, which, believe it or not, is also eco-friendly.
Ooh, is this?
It's not local.
Oh. Which one?
Oh, you'll have to wait and
Local
see.
is
Can you give us
lacquer
a- can you
though.
give us a clue
I only
on-
like local things.
But also non-locals also lacquer sometimes.
Like
Let's-
sometimes.
Let's
Like when
play.
you are opening your
Like when you're in the beer
beer.
industry.
Yeah, locals lacquer for
Locals
beer.
very lacquer, yeah.
Any
What-
clues?
I'm trying to think if we've got any songs by Bread. No, we don't.
When did you have your first beer, Harry?
There was no like definitive moment as in this is my first beer. I can't remember.
So basically your mom fed you beer when you were a
I-
Yes or no?
Yes.
And how did
Yes.
you get into the beer scene? What's
Yeah, I was going
Made
to say
you
because
join-
if I was wondering whether you are like passionate about
I'm
like
passionate
NPOs
about craft
and,
beer.
and
I'm a social entrepreneur.
okay.
So,
Well, then
When-
there's an opportunity in beer.
and I freaking love craft beer. I love craft
So then this
beer.
came along and you were like,
And I was like,
Snap.
oh my word, mixing my two yeses.
yeah,
So that
pencil
was
me in with a permanent marker.
Yes.
let's talk about that.
No music.
No music.
Oh,
Stuff
sorry. You
music.
just have to let me know because
Because
now
I like where you're going with that. Where you found your two yeses. Can you just maybe explain your process or your thinking behind that? Like, because I think we're going slightly off topic now
I was-
with beer,
yeah.
but it's
Which we do
not,
quite often,
We
I'm
do.
sure.
We go off on a tangent quite a bit.
Love time.
But I like to bring about a personal growth kind of story
Mm.
in these things.
love that.
And
Love that about you, T-Bone.
Hey,
Love it.
I promised I wouldn't do anything. But I'm interested to hear about that because a lot of people are always searching for what they want to do. And it seems like you found your two things. And if you find two things that you're good at and you enjoy, that usually creates a unique market for yourself.
Yeah.
I don't know if that was a question
Well,
or
let
not.
me just kind of explain
Yeah.
I'm also
where it
waiting
started.
for
Yeah,
the follow-up with the actual question.
I mean, okay, so after school, in high school, I was never really a beer drinker. I wasn't.
That's surprising.
Nor was I.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
I couldn't drink beer.
No, but the thing is that craft beer wasn't big where I'm from. From the northern suburbs. Anyway,
It's big in the northern suburbs.
now it
huh?
is. Yeah, but not when I finished school or was in school. So when I finished school, I jetted across the world. I went to Switzerland, and then I lived there for 6 months, worked and traveled, and then I went to Turkey.
Okay.
Because I was like, I need a challenge. Switzerland's too perfect. So I went to Turkey, and again, you can find alcohol in every 7-Eleven, which is on literally every street on every corner, and you can find one beer there specifically without fail. And it's called Efes, and Efes is their national beer, and everyone's very patriotic about Efes. So there's Efes, Tuborg, and there's a few, probably about 2 other.
This is
beers.
Turkey now.
This is in Turkey, yeah. So what I found was obviously because it's a national beer, it's like SAB on crack. It's much bigger there than it is here. Just to give you an idea of how
Yeah.
crazy they are about their national brand. So you can find it anyway. And when we went out, obviously,
That's
my
what you
friend,
had.
because Americans drink, women
Yeah,
drink beer
a lot of-
typically
yeah.
much more than South African women do. And all my friends were American. So we'd go out and they'd order beer, Efes, whatever. So they were like, oh, order if it's cheaper, it's 3 lira. It's literally about like 15 rand for a giant. So I started drinking beer. I was like, this is actually really nice. I can drink this. And it was commercial. It wasn't a craft beer. So I started drinking that. And then when I've been to, just putting it out there, I've been to 30 different countries.
Cool.
And I've drank beer in every single one of those countries. Because after that I was just like,
Sure, life goals.
beer obsessed. And I mean, I went to Austria and I went to a beer festival in Austria. I didn't know there was a beer festival, and it was amazing and it was eye-opening, and it was just, I was so excited to kind of like be part of this whole world from that point.
It's a magical feeling. We've all had that.
It
feeling.
really is. And just even thinking about how it started and how excited I was. I mean, from then I was just obviously craft beer and beer. That's it. So when I came back, obviously I started studying and I didn't drink anything else besides craft beer, which even in this day and age, like 2013, 2000 to now, it's still strange, which is silly, but it's still kind of like, oh, when a guy hears that you drink beer, he's like, oh, that's pretty cool. I'm like, no, it's normal.
Yes.
It should be normal.
Should be normal. Smash that stereotype.
I think it's just a stereotype that is...
it's still like way too widespread.
But maybe is it in all of these countries you went to, is it more intensified here, or is it like
way more here.
Really?
There it's normal for women to drink beer. And not even like low carb beers. So that's something I forgot to. I'm just going to throw it in there.
No, go ahead.
Toast ale is a low carb beer. So because the bread goes in the beginning in the mash tun, it replaces a third of the barley malt, and so the barley bill, and because the bread has already gone through its own process, it already has yeast in. The sugars break down a lot faster.
Yeah.
Which means that it's actually a low carb beer. So it's 150 kilograms instead of the typical 220 kilograms of a normal glass of wine or beer.
Kilojoules.
That one.
Yeah.
Kilojoule, that's what
You don't want 150 kilograms of carbs in a bottle of
no,
beer.
you definitely don't.
Yeah.
So it's, I mean, if it wasn't enough for you to drink charity, then drinking a low carb drink should be good enough.
Great time and space to play a
Jeez,
song
segue.
that's it's the only song that I could find. I typed in so many different bread words.
Yeah, that's what for all the listeners who aren't watching, when someone's talking and Troy gets this like glazed over look on his face, and he just every now and then he can feel you looking at him, just like nods blankly, like if you had to say
to me,
No.
if you had to ask him something and say, "What do you think, Troy?" He just sort of wobbles along.
No,
he's listening to everything.
He has no idea what's going on.
I have.
If you had to recall what we just spoke of.
That's motionless. Where am I?
I've done
Guys,
it before when I've been in a tough spot. I'd be like, "What do you think, Troy?" And you'd be like,
I just repeat the last word you say.
Yeah.
I agree. Oh,
Yes, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Toast.
No, this is terrible.
Okay, let's play a quick song, and we will see you guys in about 5 minutes' time. To Oceans Vibe Radio. We're back after a little break.
We're back.
In case you missed it, that was Craig David, The Rise and Fall.
The look on your face when you told that was
The rise of the yeast and the fall.
That was
The rise.
absolutely...
Let's hope that Toast Ale continues to rise, and there'll be no falling.
And food waste falls.
This is why you are co-hosts. Ladies and gentlemen, you are listening to #BeerTime on Tertius Vibe Radio. Dun, dun, dun.
I want to know, with all these celebrities who introduce, they say, "Welcome to the weekend," or whatever, welcome to the holiday. When is there going to be a recorded, saved version
I was literally
of
thinking that right
T-Bone
now.
saying that? And what happened to Pickles' one?
Or like a harmonious...
I must get Pickles one. I can probably
think
extract
you
it from
guys
my own
need to just-
MP3s. But
sing together.
or I'll just go home and extract your lines, and we'll make
No
something
need
else.
for you.
Yeah, welcome.
Yeah.
We'll just use recordings.
Guys, you are listening to #BeerTime, where we drink beer on the show and we talk about all kinds of interesting things. Maza, welcome back. Bianca, welcome back. Bianca from Toast Ale.
Thanks.
And now, got a bit of a theme today. I thought we should keep a bit of a theme. We're talking about toast ale in South Africa, which is a social conscious beer. No, wait, it's a responsible beer. A beer that gives back to the community. So I thought I'd try and keep a trend, and I received a beer this morning from a friend in the States. Yes, I literally received it this morning.
So this was all planned.
Things happen for a reason.
Do you usually drink 2 beers at midday?
On Tuesdays, normally more than 2.
We've got a Loose Cannon, a hop IPA from Heavy Seas. This is based in Washington, D.C. And it is a 7.5% IPA.
Fantastic.
It actually says Clipper City Brewing Company.
How's that logo?
Baltimore,
How is
Maryland.
that label?
Maryland is... Washington, D.C. is in Maryland.
Maryland?
I'm seeing it correct. But at the back here... Let me read the label. A portion of the proceeds from each case of beer we sell goes to help cleanwater.org, a national organization dedicated to protecting the quality of the water we drink and the water we use to brew. Can't make great beer without clean water. Funds from the sale of this beer go back to the region where it was purchased.
Nice.
The Clean Water Fund.
I think Drifters was doing something similar.
So look at that. You got a little...
Nice.
Allegiance, or you've got what you're you're aligning yourself with an organization that gives back. That's only going to benefit your marketing and your brand.
Well, look at them. They're being marketed in South Africa because of it.
On Hashtag Beer Time. Okay, let's have to share this beer.
Ooh.
Mazza, won't you...
It's got a great look to it.
Thank you. No pieces.
This is filtered, but I was expecting a little bit more cloudy, but it's... Sure, that's got an intense dankiness.
Okay, so I
You've got 5 more.
this thing.
Okay, so tell us, rather than us
Dank Bay.
throw out some
Play.
rather than throw out some flavors and aromas, what do you pick up, Bianca?
So, okay, I do this thing when it's probably unprofessional, but when I taste
that's
the
Hashtag
beer...
Beer Time.
Okay, good. Because when I taste the beer for
Yeah.
the first time, I sniff it hardcore.
Okay.
Almost
good,
that I
that's
would
good.
pass out. And I
Just
say
before
the
you
first
pass
thing,
out.
just before I pass out. The first thing that comes to my head is what I say. So, for example, let me just give you an example. When I taste
I had a problem with that growing up.
the first thing, saying the first thing that comes to my head.
Through coaching.
Can you give us some,
I've learned to...
Some context.
yeah, can you give us some
Sorry.
examples before Bianca does? I would like to hear yours.
No, it's got nothing to do with that. Bianca, please continue.
Okay, so I tasted a beer at the Festival of Beer.
Yes.
And the first thing that came to my mind was refrigerated, really cold cheddar cheese.
Ooh.
And so the brewer said to me, that is crazy that you said that, because
Refrigerated cheddar cheese.
the refrigerated, like that almost irony, just really just
Smells like a...
this
Okay.
this is not refrigerated cheese. I'm just giving you the story,
Okay.
backdrop. And he said to me, that's so strange that you say that, because the bacteria or the yeast that we use is only, or the bacteria or something was only found on cheddar.
Okay.
It's only found on a specific cheese.
Oh,
So he was like, your nose is on
Stefan's-
fleek. No. It was Drifters. It was one of their beers. It was, I think it was the seawater one.
Okay.
No, I don't think it was that one.
Okay.
This one, the first thing I smell is okay, so you're busy baking your cake, so you're mixing all the ingredients together.
Sure.
You have that mixture, and you pour in the caramel extract. Okay, that is the first thing that I smell.
Okay, so you pick up more malty sweetness
Yes.
than hoppy bitterness.
Yes.
I pick up the piney notes
Yeah.
more than citrusy. But I do get a caramel. I do get
But
a
now that-
malty
Now that I taste it, I'm also picking up that piney.
Oh, there's something very specific.
It's delicious though.
Mm.
I think I'm gonna finish this.
There is like a candy floss sweetness, or I'll probably kick myself, but there's definitely something I'm picking up here. But anyway, it smells good.
It's delicious.
It's
super tasty.
7.5%. So you got to know that there's a lot of alcohol and malt
So
coming
am I
forward.
taking an Uber back to my office, please?
No, because you're not having a full one of these. We do
Unfortunately.
promote safe driving on
Do
hashtag
we?
Beer Time.
Yeah.
We do
Hashtag Beer Time
we do
does sponsor
condone
Ubers.
we do condone unsafe driving, which includes drinking over legal limits. Just putting it out there, saving myself from any.
We don't condone.
We do.
We condone.
We do condone not
We
drinking.
don't
over the limit.
condone drinking and driving. Meaning of the word, I think you've got to condoning it.
I
is
put in a
like-
knot there somewhere. So maybe I've just I've totally eliminated
Yeah.
the
So you can
negative.
just cut that part out and yeah.
Yeah, the show. It's
Yeah.
fine. So people
So
listen.
just to clarify, the
Drinking is
drinking
bad,
and driving
okay.
is not good.
Okay, I'm gonna have this little sip.
What is the? It's a candy flossy.
Oh, it's got a nice smooth sweet toffee, not caramel, but more toffee, like a Belgian candy vibe.
It's nice to get tasting notes on a bottle of beer like this.
This is bad.
I'm actually wondering. It feels like they've maybe used a hop extract to bitter their beer.
I must say, I'm not a fan of like syrups and stuff in beer.
It's got. One of the best ways to tell with the hop extract is because it's an oil.
Yes.
It lightens the body of the beer.
Okay.
Do you feel like this as a 7.1%?
7.2, 7.5.
7.2%. Do you feel like it's a light body?
I do feel it's a little bit lighter.
And then that's a.
Little hop oil. Okay, that's interesting. I learned something.
Do you think
nice.
so? Because I don't think so. I love the beer. I just don't think it's a light body.
Maybe just because it's not as cold, it's hiding that mouthfeel of it being a heavier beer because compared to the toast was quite a bit cooler.
That's a light beer. Toast is a light beer.
Yeah, but in terms
easy drinking.
But if you had to make this with hop oil, the loose cannon, and
I
that
see what you're
that's
saying.
7%, because there's a lot more grain, you normally get like a fuller bodied, more chewy beer. But for a 7.2%, it is slightly light bodied compared to what you would expect.
Grainier or hoppier? Both.
No, just it's got the flavor and the hoppiness of what you can expect from a 7.2%, but the volume it has in your mouth and how it feels in your mouth feels lighter. So if you had to compare a Castle Light in your mouth and how full it feels to a Russian Imperial Stout, the Russian Imperial Stout's like almost chewy. It's like syrupy, and it's
But this
much
one
thicker.
feels to me, maybe it's because I'm used to drinking lighter beers or like pale ales and IPAs, that this one, because it's a little bit more heavier,
Yeah.
it feels to me syrupy because I don't
Yeah.
drink. I don't really.
Yeah, what do you-
regularly
Do you like
drink
it?
stouts.
Would you drink it?
I like it. Yeah, definitely.
But you don't.
It's not a
we don't-
sessionable beer.
We don't
You know-
get a lot of 7%ers and above.
No, that's true.
Like a 6% IPA here is considered quite strong.
I know,
Whereas
but
in the States, this is
that's par for the course.
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, but the Americans, hey,
Yeah.
drinkers, they wake
We've
up
got
and
a
have
the South
very
African
delicious IPA.
drinking culture is very big.
Yeah.
It
Purely
is,
because of
apparently.
volume, like the lager volumes, Bry's, rugby.
Quantity of
After
But
wins,
it's a lot
yeah.
lighter than what they usually drink, I think.
Well, their light beer is lighter than our sessionable beer, and their
Yeah,
heavy
okay.
beer is heavier than ours. They don't have a middle road.
So they also don't drink water, they drink beer instead.
Yeah.
So
For people
we
who are
should start
wondering,
doing that too.
we're drinking a triple hopped
For those wondering,
IPA from America.
Who is a triple hopped?
use can hop.
It's hopped 3 times.
Goodness me.
It's got a hop to
Oh, I see here. It is
Hop to it,
opulently hopped
opulently. Okay.
3 times in the brewing process. It's an amazingly balanced American IPA.
Amazingly balanced, if they do say so themselves.
Yeah.
I enjoy it. We always have, it's just got a different character to our local IPAs. We always say that whenever there's beers that we have on from overseas, and I think that's maybe John Keeling said something about that. He said there needs to be a unique local aspect to your beer. And I think we're still figuring out what that is, but there's a commonality between the beers from the States and from the UK. Of course, it's the style that they've got. Like the UK uses more earthy hops and slightly spicier. The States are more floral and aromatic and like fruity, punchy. But there's a difference that I can't really put my finger on. That will always, if you had to line up 10 American IPAs from the States, and even, I'm not saying they're better than ours, there's a difference to them. And I don't know what it is.
I always wonder if we're too critical when it comes to, whether it's our beers or the American beers.
Which you say we have an expectation to say it's from the States, it's going to be good.
Yeah,
I'm not necessarily saying it's better. I've got local IPAs that I enjoy above this, but it's got a difference to it that you can sense it's from, I don't know, maybe it's a whole combination of the branding, and you can see that it looks American, and maybe the hops are, I mean, there's no hop farms in Maryland, but maybe there's some close, or I don't know. There's something. There's a difference. There definitely is a difference.
Well, I think we're all in favour of this beer. We all agree that it's delicious and good for them for supporting the Clean Water
Good
Fund.
for them.
Or an organisation that
Being
promotes
sustainable.
clean, healthy drinking water. Something I think which us Cape Townians should
It's
be looking
Baltimore.
at. Baltimore, yeah.
Baltimore, Maryland.
That's near Washington, is it?
UK,
Yes.
yes.
I think we're approaching the hour mark, which is maybe a good time to kind of wrap up. Before we go, though, a little past weekend, you had a good South African National Beer Day, Murray?
I did. It was really nice. Beer House did a Meet the Brewers event, which was fantastic. And basically what they did is they got a local tasting tray, and it's just supporting breweries in and around town and Cape Town itself. And I think it's a variety of beers that sort of, it's an education to people who maybe know beer, but also who could potentially be new to beer.
Yeah.
So that was really nice, very supportive. It's really nice to have, and I think it's not just Beer House. There's a lot of places doing it, but there's a support to the craft, and it's teaching people. I had a really funny experience. I was going around to a table, and there was a guy sitting by himself drinking, it was Windhoek or something.
Lekker.
And he was sitting by himself, and he had this like stinky attitude, and I went around with my paddle with all my like tasters on it, and I was like, how's it going? We're doing free tastings. It's National Beer Day, and I want to tell you about the beer and everything. Can I give you one? And he looked at me, looked up at me slowly, and said, "I drink real beer. No thanks."
Oh dear.
It was one of those times where you think like, I wish I was quick enough to come back with something. I just said, like in hindsight, it's very lame. I was like, it's all beer, and then like walked away. I couldn't believe he said it. I was like, it's like.
Oh, that's obviously someone with just.
But he was sitting by himself.
You kept your cool.
So-
I would have dropped the beers on the floor and swatted him with the paddle.
Yes, I couldn't believe. I was like, that's obviously why you're sitting by yourself.
You would have tried a craft beer. No,
I would have sat with him and just trying to promote the good word,
It
the
was-
gospel.
Anyway,
gospel.
I did have a good weekend. It was
Yeah.
great. Very
Have you
happy
met JC?
and-
Have you mentioned?
It was a great weekend. I didn't get to any of the other events, but it was great. It was nice to see the Woodstock guys there. Mornay from Lakeside. I didn't see Stefan when he was there, and also Nick from Drifter was there. So it was a
Nice.
cool, and Letu.
Cool. So, what do you do for National Beer Day?
I did. Oh, okay, so I was supposed
Sure.
to
Okay.
Big
go
consumption.
and do promotion at Mead Bakery. Basically,
Yes.
get people during breakfast time to
Yeah,
Taste
it's a tough sale that, eh?
in Muizenberg, but unfortunately they hadn't got their new stock of beers yet. So I turned around and I went to a market.
And drank no beer.
I drank my beer, and also I had a few left over from the festival beer.
Do you still have more left over?
Yes, I do.
Fantastic.
Have some
Hashtag
Darling,
bedtime.
Biermanwerke,
Oh no,
Brewerij.
we're looking for toast ale.
I want
But I
toast
had
ales.
some toast as well. I mean, I didn't. I'm just joking, John. I didn't drink any of our promotional beer. But yeah,
You promoted it. You gave
I
it to Hashtag
really-
Beer Time.
yeah, I did. But I do enjoy my beer a lot. So
That's good.
when
Well,
it's beer
I
time,
was.
it's toast time.
I spent the weekend with the guys from Beer Country and Ross from White.
Yes, I
Wine.
saw that.
Cole and Greg.
Yes.
Your
Hi, guys.
that it's what was it? It was a cherry wheat something.
So we've got our
Yes, I saw
homebrew
that.
club called
Thanks for
Cart Horse.
Thanks for the invite.
Oh no, it was strictly.
No,
invite only.
it's also strictly,
I know.
yeah.
Still say.
strictly
Yeah.
brewer.
So we made a
I
Belgian
can brew.
Wit, and we aged it with cherries and blueberries.
It looked
It
it
So
looked fantastic.
It was a white beer, and it just came
Just
out
turned
pink.
White
red.
beer.
All Wits. It was a Wit.
Okay,
So
but it wasn't.
let's say
afterwards.
off white, an off white beer
Off-white beer.
as a vit
as a
you'd
Wit,
expect, yeah.
as a Wit.
And it just the color looked fantastic.
Yeah, it was
really
clear, it was
yeah.
pink. It was juicy. A lot of aroma, fruitiness on the nose, but very sessionable and clean on the mouth.
So why didn't you bring in?
We
How much did you make?
We might
19
have
litres?
we might have a few sneaky bottles stored somewhere. But we also had a little bit left over of this Wits, and instead of adding the fruits, we thought, no, let's just go totally wild. We had some leftover wood chips. We chucked those in.
Yo.
And then we had some rosemary for whatever reason, just lying around.
Obviously from cooking some
cooking,
delicious
yeah.
meal.
Exactly.
Yo, Carl, I know, likes to cook, so.
Belgian Wits with wood chips and rosemary. We let that sit for a week. And I tell you what,
Sure.
it was very surprising. It was actually very tasty.
You let it sit for a week.
Yeah.
So
Mm.
when did you do
Extract.
this?
Oh,
A week before
2 weeks ago. Yeah. But yeah, so we had a really cool weekend out in the wild, no cell phone reception.
So nice.
Brilliance. I think we're
what
at
goes into it stays into it.
something like that. Speaking of tour, Hop Tour, for anyone listening, Mazza, I know you're very upset that you can't make
Yeah.
it.
It's one of the highlights of my year.
And I'm very sad that you can't make it, but for people listening, there are 3 or 4 spots left, and it's
Why
on
can't
the
you go?
it's on the 1st of March.
But commitments really.
1st of March, we're going for one night to the Hop Fields in George, and it is
It's one of the best. If you are on the fence about doing it and you're available, just do it. It's one of the best weekends out, surrounded by great people, very educational.
Well, it's not even a weekend; it's just one night on a Thursday, and
Yeah, but
you just get covered
You're
in
away for a
lupulin.
week.
it's fantastic to see the production, what they've put into it, the growth, the education behind it, how things, the distribution of it, and the packaging, and how the processes all the hops go through. And also, you're surrounded by great guys who care a lot about what they're there for. And there are some great beers there.
But
Everyone
listen,
brings their
And Troy
beer.
gets to buy his chicken.
if you are not a brewer, can you go?
It's open to anyone.
It's
Oh.
very fantastic. Are you, as long as you're not
Really?
having,
Yeah.
as long as you're not having those gourmet burri rolls, those were delicious. They were like 3 meters long per burri roll as well. Everyone saved theirs for the next day.
I think that was Greg
chomped down.
Greg and Carl's burger rolls.
Yeah.
Cool, guys. Well, Bianca, thank you very much for joining us on the show. I think
Thank you for inviting me.
I learned a lot. I hope you learned something. I think our listeners learned something. Last little shout out about Toast Ale. Where can people buy it?
So, Cafe Extra Blood. So restaurants, Cafe Extra
Is this
Blood.
on tap now?
In Greenwood. No on tap.
Okay.
Except for, I'll explain now. But in restaurants, it's toast on.
Toast
Gave
and
it
bottle.
away. No, hold on. Bottles in Cafe Extra Bloods in Greenpoint.
Yeah.
Soon to be Bisbee's in Sea Point.
Okay.
Need bakeries all over in Cape Town, and we're getting into Joburg as well. And then we were in Hudson's for Beer of the Month, but not anymore.
Okay.
And we will get into more places, so you can just check on our website as we'll update all the locations and stuff. But also Norman Goodfellows in Cape Town, and Get Wine in Claremont, the biggest little beer shop in Belleville.
Your neck of the woods there.
And yeah, northern suburbs. But yeah, we do have plans to kind of get into flagship points throughout Cape Town. So if you guys out there have any place that you really, really want to drink toast, just let me know where your local watering hole is, and we will approach.
Good stuff. And what was the thing that you were going to say that you weren't supposed to say that you
Toast
gave
on tap.
So, toast on tap. Toast
yes.
on tap. If any of you came to our launch, which you did, you would
I
have
was
seen
invited.
I'm sorry, I didn't know you then.
I was quite keen to
I
come.
totally would have invited you otherwise.
We were all messaging Murray as well. Hey,
Everyone was
where
like,
are you?
"We'll see you there."
Sorry,
Yo,
Murray. What
see you
have
there,
I
and
done?
then we're coming later.
See you there.
All the other Murrays were there.
Yeah, literally.
They weren't.
No,
They
they weren't.
weren't.
Except for you.
They weren't. Ray
They
Stevenson wasn't there.
Anyway, so Toast on Tap. Toast on Tap is
Half
basically
of them
our
are
tap on wheels. So that is the only place we'll be supplying cakes
Okay.
and place. They're a van.
On wheels.
If
And
you saw the
licensing for that?
So
Where
they-
can you do it?
they'll
Festivals
go
and
to
stuff.
festivals, events, wedding venues that already have licenses and stuff, and we go and kind of
It's very
get
nice.
crazy
Yeah?
and have a nice little party with whoever wants to get on board the social train.
Very cool. Again, thank you very much for being on the show, and we wish you the best of luck with Toast, and I'm pretty sure we will see more Toast beer around different styles, I hope.
You will.
Hashtag my idea, hashtag beer time. Mazza,
Yes.
unbelievable to have you on the show as always.
It's always
Why
so
didn't
good.
I get an unbelievable shock for it?
You have to work hard for this co-host position. You have
Mazza's
to
climbed the ranks.
you have to
Eh?
give a lot.
Is it?
He's
You have to
I've
get a
watched
lot.
the-
he's
I've
dedicated.
I've watched
He's only
the,
recently been promoted.
I've watched the listenership grow. I didn't come to one show and it dropped by 75%.
Really?
Was it 73? Was it 75?
Sure,
We're
Troy,
gonna have to
it is
look at
tough
those. We're gonna have
out
to look at
there.
those numbers. Guys, thank you very much for listening, and we will see you next week. Yes, as I said earlier, it's going to be a short show. So next week we've got my American buddy, South African, but he's living in the States, and he's coming over, and we're going to have some delicious beers. I was trying to think of making it like a Valentine's Day special, but every beer show for me is love.
Sweet.
Jokes, not jokes.
Any toast puns that we can finish off with? Oh, I've got it.
Wow.
And this is compliments of my friend.
Don't say Roscoe. Please don't say Roscoe.
His name's Ross. It's not Ross.
Okay.
His name's Ross.
Okay.
And he had a question for you, Bianca. He
Oh.
wanted to know, if you have more than one toast, do you become toasted? Right, we'll leave it at that, ladies and gentlemen.
That also doesn't work.
Doesn't it?
No,
You totally get toasted.
I don't get it. It's not.
It does. No, it's a new thing.
yeah,
Like,
or being toasted as in like.
I mean, don't be
toasted.
sad you don't have like a metalled.
Yeah,
toasted.
I don't
You
get
totally get
toasted.
toasted.
Isn't something I've ever said like, yes, man, I was toasted.
It's gonna be a thing. It's gonna be a thing. Watch in the next 2 years.
I think that is a
I think
great-
there's more to go. Here.
that is a-
there's a lot more work that can be done.
That's a
here.
great place to end, to leave. And we're going to play with a song. You can see it by UB40. It's called Food for Thoughts. It's just the first thing that I saw. So let's just play that. Guys, we'll see you next week. Thanks for listening. Ciao. Thanks for listening, guys and girls. Make sure to follow me on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook. Just search for #BeerTime. That's #BeerTime written out in full. Hope you enjoyed the show, and check you next time. Cheers.